Hello, it's Miro with Word Wednesday. Um, I've decided I was gonna give you a little bit of a gift of a story about vampires. Probably not gonna ever continue it in an actual real way unless somehow thousands of people, not thousands, but like a good amount of people are like, no, we want to see more of this. Then maybe, very maybe. But I have a story called Old Vampires. It's about mostly POC vampires. Mostly. It's a big coven. It's very queer. It's very POC. Because there's not enough vampires that are queer POC. And if you're an immortal vampire, why wouldn't you be a little fruity? I'm just saying. I'm not gonna get that far into it. But here's a little snippet from the beginning. It's called A Beginning of Sorts. From the point of view of Sandra at 5 a.m. on a Sunday in a city in Sakuzi, somewhere. Somewhere. I roll my neck and let my eyes wander around the site in front of me. Tall buildings and trees clustered everywhere as a small fog slowly rolls in through the gaps left between them. Cassie and Addie are just picking up some extra food from our blood clinic while I wait outside. I don't look weird. I'm fine. No one is even out right now. It doesn't bother me as much as the morgue does, at least. Even that isn't too bad. I just can't stand the smell of blood, especially tonight. For some reason, it seems to be everywhere. Here at the edges of the city, where it is closer to the people and the quiet violence that lingers between the buildings. The air has a dampness and the chill of night, humid and biting. Even the dead could probably feel it in their graves 6 feet under. I certainly can. Even after decades of being used to not feeling warmth, feeling cold is something entirely different. I pull my hoodie closer but leave it unzipped. The sun has set just moments ago, but it is still a welcomed relief since I left my umbrella in the car. I wonder what has brought this fog and chill. I let out a soft sigh as I push the unanswered question away and look at the taller buildings farther out into the city, my eyes stopping on one that could easily be a company office or a hotel. What catches my notice, though, is the silhouette of a person standing on the roof. I frown as I continue to watch, letting my eyes adjust to seeing farther. It looks like two people, a short person fighting a larger one. One is a man, probably, considering the size. Something about the larger one's movements seem familiar. Before I can try to think more on it or even investigate, Addie walks through the automatic doors, her black dress just barely trailing behind her on the ground, followed by Cassie's quick strides and armful with her 2 tote bags. Addie's arms are empty, as usual. "We're ready to go," Addie announces happily, licking her upper lip when she glances back at the tote bags Cassie is holding. "This is supposed to last us at least a month and a half, you glutton," Cassie grumbles. Addie pouts and glares at Cassie before she suddenly perks up. "I could just buy Sandra another cow," she says, as if that'll solve it. I huff as I move my eyes back to the strange silhouettes, my curiosity getting the better of me. I'm not letting you suck the blood of my cows," I say as I continue scanning the skyline. "I meant for the milk," Addie says back quickly, as if disgusted by the idea of drinking cow blood. I don't point out that I've seen her done so at least once in the past. My eye is landing on the figures. They're still now, but not completely. "You hate milk." I glance back at Addie when I say this. "And you still eat garlic bread. Your point?" Addie asks, her eyebrows raised with hands on her going to her hips. I let out an exasperated sigh. "What do you think is going on up there?" I wonder aloud. Cassie must spot it immediately because only Addie makes an assortment of confusion and annoyed noises. Cassie doesn't say anything. "Late night snack?" Addie supplies when she figures out where we're looking. I glance at them to see Cassie staring up too. "No, look," she points out. I look just in time to see the large figure holding the smaller one out, and then lets them go. Cassie's hand slowly lowers with the person falling. "Want to check it out?" I ask. Cassie gives me a look of annoyance. "And get into a mess we don't need to be involved in?" she asks. Addie smiles as she starts walking to the building the body had fallen from. The man is now gone, like there was no proof he was ever there. It is strange, but I can't help but wonder. Donovan would complain if we mentioned that we saw and didn't explore, Addie calls out before disappearing, her steps bouncing her up and down. Besides, what was happening up there seems a bit weirder than just a murder, I add. Cassie gives me a look of absolute boredom and annoyance. Wow, Sandra why can't I say her last name? Wow, Herent's telling the difference between murder and something we still shouldn't be sticking our noses into, she grumbles. I let my smile widen as we start walking after Addie, taking one of the tote bags and bumping her hips together. Well, we have to get the baby back, so technically it's Addie's fault. Why did we agree to let you be the mom of this family? I don't know. You're dad, after all, I point out in response. She glares at me, even though her face turns slightly red, her dark brown skin making it hard to tell if she's blushing or not. We're the only two that think we should reverse the roles, but Natalie says once it's set, it's mostly final. Depends on where we're living, usually, though. We should switch roles when we get back. You act more like a distant father than I do. Don't know how we're gonna switch the paperwork suddenly, but okay, if you can get any of them to agree, I say back. I look forward and catch Addie crouching next to a boy laying on the ground. She has a stick in her hand and is about to poke him, but I grab her arm before she can. Are they breathing? I ask. She glares up at me, pushing her light brown hair behind her ears, even though it barely goes past her jaw, her eyes flashing a bright orange-red in the darkness. I can feel my eyes flash back automatically. Yes, which is weird. Humans can survive a fall from that high up. Even wolves would struggle to look that fine, too, if they fell on their heads. He looks like he fell and hit his back and probably blacked out. Just a little blood, but probably fine, she says with pouted lips as she glances at the boy. So he could possibly be a vamp? Cassie asks. Addie shrugs quickly like it doesn't really matter to her anymore. He still smells dead, doesn't he? Sure, that isn't just you? Cassie asks with a smirk. Addie stands up with a huff and spins around, walking back towards the clinic and ignoring us now. So, what, we just happened to find a vampire falling from a building? Thought there weren't many vampires here, I say. Cassie shrugs. There aren't any besides our cousin and, like, 2 other families. Maybe he belongs to one of them and got into a fight? I'm pretty sure they get along as well, but either way, I'm sure he'll be fine, Cassie says quickly as she starts to turn away, too. He was pushed off a building. Remember the last time I pushed Donovan off a building? Or Terrence? I ask. Cassie winces before nodding curtly with a sigh. Fine, but I'm not carrying him all the blood. Or carrying him, she says. She argues. I nod my head before handing her the other tote bag back. She quietly mumbles a thank you but keeps her eyes on the boy on the ground. I move his arms to his stomach so they won't fly around and lift him up with ease. He shouldn't be this light, even if he's undead. Cassie notices my concern but turns around in the same direction Addie went. Let's go. I'm sure Donovan will be happy to have a new thing to fret over, she says before leading the way back to the car. Oh, so now she's annoyed with me. Whatever, it's better to be safe than sorry if he's a cat or even a baby bat. And that is the end of a beginning of sorts in Sandra's point of view. It does get into more point of views, but that's just a little bit of a snippet. It's also a little bit of a older version that I've written. It's not perfect or as well written as I would like it to be. But I do enjoy the story. I'm just unsure if I would actually continue it for publication. Let me know if you like it. That's all for today, for Writing Wednesday. Bye-bye. Take care of yourselves and enjoy. Bye-bye.